This podcast was produced on the land of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation.
Welcome to Australia.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie.
This is kind of tragic.
Someone who is such a connoisseur of reality television.
The content is hideous.
So sorry about this. Oh my God.
This is The Cringe is Real, a reality TV recap podcast that probes the notion of the Australian culture cringe. I'm Sam Cremian, and I'll let you decide if I'm a nice guy or a fuckboy. Welcome to the off-season, where I'll be recapping entire seasons of iconic Australian reality shows from the archives. This week, I'm joined by the gorgeous Paul Mizzi of the Swapcast Podcast, who insisted I watch FBoy Island Australia Season 1, and aren't I glad I did. FBoy Island Australia is an Australian version of an American format show with the same name, which premiered in 2021, produced by HBO Max. Binge picked up the Aussie show for its first season in May 2023, and since then it's been greenlit for a second season, which we can expect later this year, and I can see why. Paul Mizzi, welcome to The Cringe is Real.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
What's got you cringing this week?
Well, I think it's that time of year. Definitely Christmas movies. And funnily enough, I host another show called the Swapcast Podcast, where we only talk about body swap movies. And there was a brand spanking new one that Netflix released this year. Did you see it?
I have seen it. I cannot believe the timing of this for you is so fantastic.
Yeah.
Jennifer Garner. I'm a huge Jennifer Garner fan. So when I saw it drop, I was like, I can't not watch this. And I'm very excited to hear your recap of
this is
Family Switch.
Family Switch. Yeah, this is actually the third Jennifer Garner swap movie we've done on the show, because we've obviously done suddenly 30, 13 going on 30, whatever part of the world you're in, you call it. And then she also did a movie with Kevin Spacey called Mr. Fuzzy Pants, where Kevin Spacey turns into a cat. Yeah.
I was a little bit trepidatious when the idea of watching FBoy Island was first proposed. And I'm very thankful that you asked me to watch it, because I fucking loved it.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. This show was like my personality for like the month that it was on. Like, I was obsessed with it. And I think you know why.
Yeah, and I'm upset with myself that I didn't jump on board when it was airing, because I would have loved it as like a week by week thing. But I'm glad it's been renewed for a second season, and I can totally see why as well.
Yeah. Now, I've been a huge fan of this franchise as a whole. Like from the first American season, it became appointment viewing with me and my friendship group. We watch the episode every week and just like talk about it for hours.
Tell me about the American version, because I haven't seen it. What are the differences, if any?
There's very few differences. This is a very faithful adaptation in terms of like the rules of the game. They're all pretty much exactly the same. But most importantly, the tone.
The very strict rules.
Yes, the very strict rules.
Which may have been thrown out the window halfway through.
Yeah. Well, both like the American season and the Australian season do the same thing, where like they throw out the rules halfway through. Like it's all exactly the same. Yeah. Probably. Yeah. So the original American season, most importantly, shares the tone. Like it's very tongue-in-cheek, it's meta, and like it doesn't treat the audience like idiots. Like it knows its audience are people that know the reality show format and kind of hate the reality show format, and it plays with that. And
it's Nikki Glaser?
Yes.
Instead of Abby Chatfield. And is she just as cheeky and funny? And
yes, she's actually really funny. And that was, getting an actual funny stand-up comedian to host the show was a very good choice. Yeah, Abby Chatfield I think is hilarious as well. Yeah.
Like I've always kind of liked her and what she represents, but this for me was like her breakout, like star power moment, where I was like, she's really like, without her, I don't think the show would have been as good.
Yeah, and it's a strangely feminist show for a show called FBoy Island, and it's a horny show as well, which I really appreciate. Like,
yes, there was a lot of horniness from the women, which was my favorite part of it. Like, all three of them actually were really horny, We'll get into it in a sec, but I loved that. And they weren't ashamed to talk about their sex lives and their sexualities and who they thought was hot. I was like, fuck, this is awesome. Like, these are the kind of conversations I have with my girlfriends. And you don't get to see that on TV. Normally it's very like, oh, you know, the men, or they've only got one thing on their mind, but like the women, they're all looking for like someone to sit down and kiss and cuddle with. And I'm like, well, can't women just be thirsty as well?
Yeah, exactly. And like you see a show like Too Hot to Handle, which I absolutely love as well. But even that show, because of the conceit of the show, it kind of still demonizes that sexuality in a way. Like, whereas this show, it's like, you want to fuck. You want to talk about this, you want to rub against him, do it. Like, do whatever the fuck you want.
Totally. And I love that people fuck on this show as well. That made me very happy. Like, very below deck style, where they're like, no, these people fucked. And then we're going to talk about it. I like the international casting, and I like that this is becoming a thing now in like a streaming climate where the shows know that these shows are going to be watched all over the world. So they're like, fuck it, we'll just chuck in like 2 random American guys and a British guy, some Kiwis, whatever. Like, I love that as a emerging trend, and it worked really well.
Yeah. And especially for like a dating show where presumably the goal is for these people to stay together in some conceivable way, for everyone to be from different places. I mean, like Too Hot to Handle does this as well. It's like you put together a UK person with someone that lives in Nigeria, and then it's like, yeah, that's going to work.
My favorite thing as well, and this was huge props to production, was the floppy dick house and all of the penis decor. That for me was just like, I fucking died. So good.
Yeah. And like, I think a bit of the appeal of these shows is just like lifestyle porn. Like, just like when you come home from work every day, just the imagery of just like these people lounging around in these like fabulous resorts next to the beach is just like, it's so nice.
Well, let's get into the women. Like, they were fucking stunning. So start with Sophie. I'm calling her LD Margot Robbie. She's got a total Margot Robbie vibe. I love that she's a DJ. That's like her job. But then later on we find out that like she's been DJing for like a year. I was like, okay. Yeah. And her whole storyline is that she hasn't had a root in 2 years.
What a storyline.
Like, literally that was her backstory. It was just like, well, she's like, yeah, you know, haven't put anything down there for the last 2 years. Yeah. I was like, okay. And I don't think she at any point broke that spell either. Or she tried to make it out like she didn't. But we'll go there.
Yeah, I think she actually, which is very strange for people on these kind of shows, that she has standards. And that's probably why she hasn't fucked anyone in 2 years, and why she didn't fuck any of these losers on this show. Like, she was like, actually, I'm not going to do that.
Next is Ziara. Ziara was so funny. I loved how horny she was, and I loved how she just was a self-proclaimed F-boy magnet. Like, that was her kind of like bench. She's like, I don't care if they're an F-boy. I'm just here to like fuck some hot guys.
There was something about her though that just seemed a bit like, she was entertaining to watch, but I don't think I could ever like hang around her in the real world.
Next is Molly. Molly was very cheeky, very fun. Her storyline was that one day she went to see her ex-fiance at work, and there he was with a escort bent over the desk, which was quite funny. Every time she told the story, I couldn't help but like find it quite hilarious, because she seemed to have a good sense of humor about it.
She did, but then like sometimes she like it really made her angry. Like, if a guy displayed any kind of behavior that reminded her of that event, and then it was like World War III. I think for me, Molly was my favorite of the three. And I think she's also very stunning. She actually reminded me of a young Tara Reid.
Very much
all
so.
I could see was Tara Reid.
Yeah. I could see that. I really liked her pieces to camera as well. I thought she was the best. Yeah. She was the most comfortable on camera.
And what she had to say just felt very real. Like, her the way she was talking about the guys and the way she was talking about what her reaction to them, they felt very genuine to me. They didn't feel like a put on.
All right, so episode 1, the highlights for me, speaking of Molly, is Caleb and this disgusting comment that he makes. So this had me, like, I was in stitches. I had to pause and like rewatch this a million times because it was so ludicrous. So basically, Molly's told her story to everyone at the Meet Gala, MEAT, about how, you know, she got cheated on, and Caleb's first reaction is, well, that pussy must be nasty.
So good.
And I was screaming, like, what? And it's strange because we don't actually circle back to this until the very last episode. The guys keep it. The guys don't dob. What did you think of that? Is this like bro code? How no one ever dobbed him in?
I think, you know, and I think this show and Too Hot to Handle, this often happens where you really see the true love in these shows are between the guys. Like the guys actually like each other more than the girls they're supposedly fighting for, and they would much rather just hang out with each other. Yeah.
Especially on an Australian reality show context. Like, I feel like men in Australia, particularly nowadays, like younger millennials and Gen Z, like they're very comfortable in their sexualities and like the bromance of it all. We have to talk about Nick. I can't help myself. Nick is friend of the pod, Nick, as well. Where did they? Where? In which? Where did he come from?
He's just a teddy. He's like a human teddy bear. Yeah. I don't know how much of the show played that up with editing or whatever, if he was really that.
He had his own score. Like every time he was on camera, these violins would play like, and they would like linger on him just stupid because he's got such a sexy little silly face, and he would just stare off into the distance and they would like zoom in. It was genius editing.
Like I've obviously follow him now on the socials, and
I'm waiting for the OnlyFans, babe, but it hasn't dropped yet.
I don't think it's gonna come. Like he's too wholesome. So wholesome.
I know, but just so you know, Nick, you've got 2 subscribers.
We'd pay
already.
for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the fucking shock reveal that he's got a gigantic dick as well.
Oh my god! Which, I mean, I could have told you that.
Could there be anything else?
A big, lovable, sensitive man with a cute smile and a big dick. Huh. So Corey does tell the boys about Caleb's nasty ass pussy comment. And he doesn't even just finish there. So let me take you back. He also has a checklist about how a pussy should be, which includes pH levels, how to stroke your man, and be wet and pure. These are the checklist items of how the pussy should be. And I'm like, mate, you are on camera. What the actual fuck?
Yeah. And I think they even like put that list as a visual on the screen as he's ticking it off. Like
they do.
And that's what I love about this show. Like, yeah, they're so willing to just put like a visual gag in. Like, what other show does this? It's amazing.
I don't know if you remember Darcy or not, but he was the one that went on the date with Ziara first, and his whole thing was, "Oh, you look like Rihanna. I've only got one reference for a black celebrity, and it's Rihanna, and I'm going to say that." So I loved the casual racism from him. They go on a date at the waterfall, and she's just into him because he's got a big jaw.
I don't see it. Like, I really don't see it with him. There was just something off-putting.
We also get Ziara's keen interest on Isaiah from the first minute. So she clocks him. I'm pretty sure it's just because he's tall, and he's kind of standing at the back. Isaiah, like, mate, I was like Tyra Banks being like, all of America was rooting for you, but he just didn't deliver. Like, he just was so...
He's not good TV.
No.
He's probably the nicest person, and he'd probably be a laugh to hang around, but he's not a reality TV star.
So Andrew, Nick, and Mitch are up for elimination. I love that her choice for Mitch being up is he lives in the Gold Coast. And she's like, that's FBoy Central. I can spot a red flag. And
Yeah.
Molly makes the stupidest decision of all time. And Molly fucking eliminates Nick, which I was like, what the fuck is going on? I genuinely, and look, I may had already seen some spoilers from Instagram that they were together. So I was kind of like, I kind of knew at this point that he was going to come back, but still I was like not expecting him to go out first.
Yeah, and just because he said once bros before hoes as a joke, that's the worst the guy's going to say. Like,
yeah, in the same episode where a guy's talking about pH levels, it's like,
yeah.
Okay. Molly doesn't trust Sean's intentions, which I was screaming at the TV. I'm like, yeah, this guy's a little bit of a douchebag, but still, like, he's just trying to bring attention to the fact that this guy is like puss shaming Molly. But anyway.
But I mean, I think what we find out later is that she was probably right about that as well, though. I don't think she should have trusted his intentions.
No.
Like, he proved himself to be exactly what she was afraid he was. Like, he was a bit of a douche.
So there's a thirsty group date, which is like a challenge where they just spray each other with paint. And this was the first challengey type thing where Abby has so many funny lines, and I was getting really into it. I'm like, oh, okay, now I see what this show is going to be. It's going to be lots of like silly games. Abby making fun of these FBoys. Wild ride. We go to the group mixer. And this is kind of where we first meet Justin properly. Justin reveals to Sophie that he's done porn and that he's a stripper, which I was like, shock horror. You're telling me that you're a stripper? Like, look at you.
What did you think about Justin, though? Because I just don't get why I don't get what the girls saw in him at all. He just is so gross.
He also didn't seem to want to be there, really. Like, he seemed uncomfortable. I think, let's be straight, he was just on there to promote his manpower business. Sean makes a move on Molly, and this is when we meet Benny, the British DJ, and he just out of nowhere starts this fight with Sean, and Sophie's not into it at all. This was weird. This was clearly production being like, mate, if you want to stay, like, no one knows who you are, start some drama. And Sophie was not having it. She was like, fuck this. So Justin and Sophie go on a date. They do pottery. And he tells us that he wants to name his kid Channing after Channing Tatum.
So stupid.
Ziara and Corey have a mud bath. Corey tells Ziara that Darcy's an F-boy. So he's playing hard.
He's so the opposite of the kind of person that I would gravitate towards.
Yeah.
Like, every time he opened his mouth, it was like alarm bells for me. Like, and the way he was acting like the girls were his property, and I just like, oh no, nah, I'm sorry.
Second elimination, Darcy gets put up after the comments from Corey. Molly puts up Mikey and Joey. Benny, Darcy, and Mikey are safe. So we say bye to Ryan, who's a nice guy. Eden, who's a nice guy, and he cries, which I was like, okay. And Joey, who's an F-boy.
Again, probably because he's being ripped away from his bro friends, not the
totally.
girls.
But at this point, I'm like, okay, girls, you need to like, this is giving me the traitors, where it's like they accidentally keep getting rid of the faithfuls. And they're like, fuck, we need to find the traitors. It's like they need to find the fuckboys at this point. So episode 3, we open with a church-style confessional gag at Limbro. This is our introduction to Limbro. And Abby's there and she's getting the lads to confess their sins. And I was like, this is fucking camp. Like,
I love Limbro as a concept. It's so funny. A bit of tea, I won't say who, but I know one of the F-boys, and he revealed to me that all the Limbro scenes are like shot in one day, like at the end. But yeah, the show, I think, assumes that you know that. It is very funny.
The girls debrief at the villa. Ziara's totally off Darcy. Then we have this shot where the boys have like a pillow fight in their undies.
See, this is why the show is amazing. Like, there was no reason for that except for our enjoyment.
So Abby's like, there's a twist.
Yeah.
And she goes, there's a twist to revolutionize this show and reality TV forever. Intruders. I was like, oh, Abby, I love you. We get Simon, who says he'd fuck himself if he could. The face tats guy, Chris, and Vernon. So this is our first introduction to Vernon, who I got to say, I don't know if you've deep dived on. Oh no, they show us later the photos of from his Insta where he had the longer mullet.
I don't know. Like, there's also, if you go further, there's like pre-mullet, and pre-mustache Vernon, and like as like a clean cut kind of Twinkie guy, he was actually really hot in that way as well. Like he's a very good looking man. Personality is another story.
Then Caleb tells us that he fucked in a closet once during Thanksgiving. And it was just a quick 25 minutes. At the mixer, Vernon calls his mo a clit tickler, and we get a womp womp FBoy alert. Sophie is mainly vibing with Justin and Joshy. Joshy hottie as well, I thought, mainly just because of his size.
Yeah.
But I thought Joshy was a cutie,
and he's got that kind of like quiet, kind of chill personality that is very like, it brings you in.
I reckon he knows how to fuck.
Oh yeah, and he's got that kind of like sly smirk on him, like, you know, that there's a bit of a cheekiness. Like, I was there for Joshy for sure.
Then we get Mitch in between jobs, who tells us that Vernon broke up with his girlfriend to go on the show. This is very funny how they edit this, because he won't shut up about it, and so they've just super cut him shopping this around to everyone. And then we even get the cameraman being like, dude. Isaiah and Ziara go on a date in a love heart shaped sand bed. He's really nervous, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, fucking hell. But they still share a little kiss because you know Z's horny. Sophie and Benny go on a date, and this is where Sophie and Benny are like vibing the most. You know, they're both DJs, so there's that.
I was really off-put by Benny. I like the way we were introduced to him with the argument really like put me on the back foot straight away. And he just had that kind of cocky like energy, that energy where he'd always think he's the main character in every situation. I would find him very irritating to be around.
Sophie thinks he's funny. They go on a cooking class date where everything is made of eggplants and peaches. And I'm like, okay, we get it. Then we also get Molly and Vernon on a date. So Molly's into this guy already. She knows that he's a bit of a douche, but I think she's into the clit tickler of it all. They go on like a full drive on the beach. This is quite funny. Vernon's like, oh, Vernon was my granddad's name. Molly goes, yeah, Molly was my dad's favorite stripper.
See, she's got an edge to her, that Molly.
Yeah. She knows what's up.
I appreciated it.
I have in my notes here as well that he has great teeth. Okay. Then at the elimination, Molly puts up Mikey and Sean. Sophie does Mitch and Nico. And Abby makes Mitch once again tell his story about Vernon leaving his girlfriend to be on the show. Which I love this. She's just embarrassing him, even though the producers know exactly what the fuck they're going to do at this point. They're already on the phone to Brogan. Yeah. Ziara puts up Laksha and Corey. We say goodbye to Mitch, Mikey, and Laksha, and they reveal that they are all F-boys. Boom, 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 boom. So their girls are finally onto it.
Yeah, the kiss of death, being an F-boy and also not having much of a personality.
And not getting any fucking airtime. Those three, I was like, who? Episode 4, we start with Mitch in Limbro, and he's like, this is great that they set him up for this. They made him tell the story about Vernon to everyone like it was story time. And then back to the nice guy grotto, and Nick is still pining after Molly. He's staring at that photo with his longing puppy dog eyes. And we start to get some confessionals with Nick. So this is where I'm like, okay, Big Dick Nick is back in business. Caleb and Ziara go on a date. She wants to find out if there's more to him than just being hot. And can confirm there isn't. So this is where we meet Clay. Oh my God, fucking Clay. So Sophie goes on a date with Clay and he says the word vlogger. He's like, I'm a vlogger. And I was like, what? Like no one has used that word for over a decade.
again, he's one of these guys that just don't know why he was there in the first place. Like,
Well, we find out that it was for his social media game.
I guess the thing is, you always forget watching these shows is like how young all these people are. I think it's that kind of thing that you would be surprised. Well, I probably wouldn't even be surprised how many of these guys are there just to build their personal brands. They don't give a fuck about love. They don't give a fuck about relationships. Or alternatively, they're just doing it for a laugh.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when I was in my 20s, I went on Australian Idol for a laugh.
Did
Like,
you?
you know, you just do that kind of stuff. Yeah.
You were on Australian Idol? Why didn't we should have led with this? So James and Molly go on a date, but Molly's thinking of Nick, and they cut in these shots of Nick kissing his biceps, which was quite hot. Back at Limbo, poor Laksha, he gets no airtime, and then they make him say at Limbo that he fucked a coconut. At the mixer, Sophie thinks Justin is lying to her. Yes, Sophie, correct. And the guys are kind of telling her, don't trust him. This is because he said at the first day or something, oh, none of these girls are my type.
But also, you're on a fucking dating reality show. Like, it's not in your best interest to say these kind of things. Like, use a bit of, you know, logic here. Come on.
So it's Nico's word against Justin's at this point. Sophie's like, well, if he's lying, I'm going to send him home. And Nico comes over and confronts Justin about what he said. And yet Sophie does not love the drama. Every time this seems to happen, she's like really turned off by it. And she usually just sends the person home straight away.
I just don't get it. I just don't understand what she saw in him. Like, that is probably the thing that dumbfounded me the most. Every time I saw him not getting eliminated and sticking around and getting dates and being pined over, I'm like, what is happening? Like,
elimination night, Molly says she's been naughty. And we're all like, what? Naughty how? And it cuts to her, goes flashback style to her going to the grotto to see Nick and asking if he'll come back. And they have the most epic pash. And I'm like, yes.
Yeah, I was overjoyed when this happened. It was so good. Like, there's so many moments where I was just like struggling to sit in my seat. Like, I wanted to like jump up and like pump my fist.
Yes.
It's like, yes. And I was like, I shouldn't be invested in this relationship because she fucking eliminated him immediately, which was the stupidest move ever. But then you're like, oh, I just wanted to get
I'm just
together.
glad that he was back on my screen, if I'm being honest. He says that the boys aren't up to scratch and he's back for Molly. And this is the first time he meets Vernon. So Abby's like, Nick, maybe you should go and sit over there next to Vernon. And Vernon's like, oh, I'm not fussed. Blah, blah, blah. And Nick calls Vernon a knockoff honey badger. But they do blossom their little bromance as well, don't they? Which is kind of hot.
Between Vernon and Nick.
If I was Molly, I would not have ruled out a full just three-way scenario, but that's just me.
And you know, I don't know about Nick, but you know Vernon would be up for it,
100%.
for sure.
Sophie puts up Nico and Justin because, you know, this happens every time. She puts up the drama, the people that are causing the drama. Ziara picks Isaiah and Simon, and Molly picks James and Ricardo. Who? Justin is all emotional, and he says the bachelor cliche of I'm here for you, I'm not here for the money. James wells up with tears when Molly says that she's not vibing with him, and I'm like, fucking hell! Like, so many of these men cry during the show, which like is kind of baffling. Clay interrupts and says that Ricardo's been flirting with the bar staff, which this was so funny. And they like cut back to Ricardo like flirting with one of the like chicks that works behind the bar. And Sophie is not impressed. So she sends him home and we find out he's an FBoy. Ziara sends home Simon, who's obviously a fucking FBoy. And Molly has to send home them both because she brought Nick back. So that's like her punishment for bringing Nick back.
Can I just say, like, circling back to James, I was so glad at this point that he didn't get eliminated. I have to say, my personal preference out of all the guys on the show, James
that's your type.
Was the one that I was like, he's the cutest. Yeah, that's my type.
He gets a big group hug. And Abby cracks it at this point because the crew want to go home. It's going on.
That was so good.
I love that bit. Like, come on, guys, the fucking crew want to go home. I was like, at 5. All right, we're getting there. We're at the halfway mark. In limbo, class is in session. This was my favorite shot of the whole show. Nick is so huge that he's like straddling 2 of the other guys, and they look really tiny, and it's really cute. Like, there's like 2 guys like sitting on his lap. I'm like, Daddy. He's excited to be back. And so are the lads. The lads love him, but he's not sure about Vernon. Caleb rocks up with chicken burgers. This is the chicken burger kind of scenario. I loved this. And he's like, I know how to treat a lady right. Oh my God.
But yeah, the thing is, she actually responds to it. And then other guys bring her chicken nuggets or chicken strips later, and she's just over the moon. It's like,
they must be bored as fuck in this villa. They do a talent show. Abby rocks up, she's like, it's a talent show. Darcy's talent is eating pussy. Fantastic. Benny does like a kind of the library is open thing, which I quite liked. And he like reads the house down. He basically just calls everyone a wanker, but it was actually quite funny. Nick comes out with a guitar, and this was atrocious. This was the one time where I did not want to fuck Nick.
Yeah, no, it wasn't hot at all.
No, it was not hot. But even worse was Vernon doing clown.
Oh, yes. No.
And Isaiah's poem, but he's like nervous and he fucks it up.
I couldn't look at the screen. Look at the screen. I hated that.
Caleb's talent. He pretty much just like thrusts Ciara. And because of that, Isaiah's kind of back in the good books. And then Darcy rips off the Caleb of it all, and he goes with the nuggets. But Sophie's quite into him for some reason. I don't know, this was a very strange scenario. There was like, the boys were kind of just throwing around food. Like, this scene was a mess.
Yeah, I love the drama of that. It's just like, what is actually happening right now? I do not get it.
And Caleb is pissed. He calls out Darcy for throwing the nuggets, which was very cringe.
Imagine this scene playing out with like actual adults, like people in their like 30s or 40s, and all these people are fighting about chicken nuggets and wedges. Like,
this is the first time that we are introduced to Nick's nickname, which is Big Dick Nick. And I fucking died. So Nick and Molly are on a date, and she's like, so I've heard the boys have given you a little nickname. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and assume there's some sort of communal shower situation, Paul. Just visualize this with me.
I'm happy to visualize that.
And the boys have all seen each other's dicks. Dead.
Yeah. They're probably just naked all the time when the camera's not on.
100%. Abby gives the girls like an FBI style board with all the faces of the boys so that they can try and figure out who's an F-boy. And this is the first time, because I wasn't even really thinking about it as a game, but I was like, hang on. If they're figuring it out, but Nick's back in the competition, how does that make sense?
And then they know he's a nice guy. Other seasons of the show have proven this as well. The US season, the New Zealand season as well. Girls will never go for the safe bet. Like, they are very much willing to go for the obvious F-boy. Yeah.
So tell me, has there been a season of this show where they don't reveal everyone's status halfway through?
No, every iteration of the show has done this. Yeah.
So they're all discussing who could be a potential F-boy. Vernon is sus. Justin is sus. They tell Abby about the nuggets scenario, and she's like, what the fuck? At the elimination, Sophie picks Chris and Benny. Ben, and Jonathan go up from Molly. So does Darcy and Corey from Ciara. So this is the bit where Darcy fucking reads a poem to try and redeem himself about the nuggets. And I was screaming with laughter. This was like fantastic television. So Molly gets rid of nice guy Chris. Ziara eliminates nice guy Darcy, and Molly eliminates nice guy Jonathan. So 3 niceys in the bin.
They're not doing well.
Episode 6. The girls have a house party and they're allowed to invite someone each. Sophie invites Justin, Ziara invites Isaiah, and Molly invites Vernon. This is the bit where Sophie's grilling Justin about like what he's after, because clearly, you know, Vernon and Molly try and chat about the whole Justin and Sophie sitch because they're being really loud, and they end up discussing whether they think Justin's an F-boy or not. And Vernon says 100%, I think he is. And this is the bit where Vernon and Molly shut the door. And he tells us that he loves eating pussy. And we get some audio of said pussy eating.
So good.
So good.
Yeah, and I have to say, like, none of the other seasons have had a scene that rivals this. This is an Australian special.
Back at the Soft Dick Mansion, the boys do like a slow-mo sexy slip and slide. Nick's really pissed off he didn't get to go to the house party, and he's even more pissed off when he's going to find out that, you know, potential pussy eating happened. And this is where we get Nick hugging a pillow, and he says, oh, look, all night I just listened to Harry Styles and hugged my pillow trying to cheer up. So good. What a fucking big dumb idiot. I love you. Then this is where we get Corey's age gate. So it's like, how old is Corey? I don't know who the fuck throws him under the bus here. I think it's Caleb. But it's pretty much like, you said you were 32, but then you later on said you were 35. And this was kind of giving me like, did you watch Drag Race Down Under season 3? With where Hollywood star got like named and shamed by RuPaul for lying about her age?
Yeah.
This is kind of giving that where it's like...
And I don't think it's ever resolved, actually, is it? Like, we never get a solid answer for this.
Vernon and Molly chat at the party, and he goes, oh, my mouth always gets me into trouble. But sometimes it gets me into good things. You know what I'm talking about. And Nick's face is like hilarious. It's like Nick's like death staring from the slip and slide. And then we get a silly water gun fight. And it's like Team Nick versus Team Vernon, and they do it. It's very camp. Then we get the social media challenge. So the girls are allowed to deep dive into the boys' social media. First up is Vernon, black eye picture.
Yeah, I mean, the writing's on the wall. Like, Molly knew what she was getting into with Vernon. I don't think she would have been particularly surprised by anything she saw there.
And his answer is that he can't remember what happened, so he's immediately in the doghouse. Caleb's picks are just hot, so he gets a pass. Nick's picks are hot, he gets a pass. Joshy passes even though he's spotted at the Coogee Pavilion, so clearly this is like a notorious pickup joint. Then they pretty much show Sean's OnlyFans videos, which I was like, this is hilarious. And he's been on another show. Another reality show, which they cannot name. And there's a lot of... Do you know what it is? I didn't...
I think it's Love Island.
Okay. He looks like a Love Island kind of guy. Isaiah gets busted for being a bit thirsty. They show Justin's OnlyFans pictures. He's out. It's revealed that Corey is an actor at this point as well. This is where they pretty much revealed that Clay has a girlfriend. And they fucking hate it. All 3 of the girls, they hate it. And Abby,
which understandable.
At the elimination, Ziara is pissed off at Corey for not telling her that he's an actor. Sophie's mad at Clay for the girlfriend thing, understandably. So Sophie picks Clay and Justin. No surprises there. Ziara picks Josh and Corey, and Molly picks Sean and Vernon. Dun, dun, dun. Molly's like, well, you know, I have something I need to tell you all. Not only did I get my pussy ate, but as a result of that, Vernon told me that he's an F-boy. Mm-hmm. And everyone's like, what? And I love this.
Yeah, this is the first time a guy's actually on his own volition said, I am an F-boy to one of the girls. Wow. So, yeah.
Well, so Abby says, as such, we all need to reveal our statuses so that it's fair. I was like, sure. And then the episode ends with Caleb being like, I'm out of here. Episode 7, they all have to disclose their statuses. Caleb's clearly an F-boy. We hear about that. Ziara's pissed, and they play some clips from his audition tape, and it's so funny. He's like, I've fucked so many beautiful women. I don't need this. She tells him to shut up and calls him out for his lies. Like, Ziara's like genuinely pissed off. She's like, you told me you were a family man. She calls him fucking pathetic, which I loved. Justin's next. And Justin reveals that he's a nice guy, which I was shocked by.
Why did it shock you?
Like, look, let's be real. These labels don't actually mean anything. And I think all of these men are horrible. But, like...
Funny.
I thought that the storytelling was leading us to think he was an F-boy.
I think everything about him leads you to think he's an F-boy. Like, he just drips F-boy.
Benny's a nice guy. Corey's a nice guy. Sean is an F-boy. He says in his audition tape he's 24 and horny. And Ben's an F-boy. Josh is a nice guy. Clay is an F-boy, no shit, and he's like, I'm only doing this for exposure, and they grill him hard on that. And Joshy, which this surprised me as well, is an F-boy.
Yeah, that was a shock.
So now that Abby's revealed that, she's like, well, we're not going to have an elimination because who knows? And this is where Abby introduces the idea of, reforming the F-boys. So the show kind of changes now. It's like F-boy rehab. Oh, they do this like dunking game now. Where they got to it's called douche tank, and they answer questions. And if the girls don't like what they hear, they get to dunk. They ask Josh, "What's your favorite sex position?" And he goes, "Oh, look, I'm partial to a reverse cowgirl." And then because Abby goes, "Josh, that is the most interesting thing you have said all season." Because this spot got no airtime. Yeah. Then Nick gets asked why she should pick him over Vernon. And he's like, well, I'm more mature. And then they cut to Vernon and he's like making a dick out of the sand. They don't even ask Clay a question. They just dunk him.
Yeah.
Which is quite cute. Sophie apologizes to Justin for thinking that he was an F-boy. And I'm like, oh, calm down, girl. He's still terrible. We get some more of Vernon and Nick's bromance here. There's a little tap on the bum to try and get Molly's attention. It's quite cute. And Molly's conflicted now because she's starting to get really attracted to Vernon's cheeky edge. And Nick's kind of, in comparison, seeming a bit boring because he's a nice guy. What did you think about this?
Kind of get it. I mean, I think if I was in her shoes, I would definitely, there would be no other option but Nick. But I get it.
Same.
I do get it. And I guess the other thing with these kind of shows is yes, the stakes of the show that there's this prize money at the end. But
yes.
And then if you think about what's actually at stake, it's about creating your brand so that you can advertise yourself on your social medias after the show's aired. So in the end of the day, whatever gets the best television is really in your best interest, apart from the outcome of the show itself. So in that context, it kind of does make sense to go for the more interesting guy and to create this drama and to keep these awful people in the game.
Totally. Nick's like, fuck it. You've pashed Vernon in front of me. I'm going to do the same. And he gives her a sloppy pash. Sean's pissed. He says, I don't think there's much going on between me and Holly anymore. Oh, shit, I mean Molly. God, don't air that. This was gold. He's like, I might as well go home because Holly doesn't care about me. And they literally they leave it all in. We're at the elimination and Molly picks Ben and Sean. Sophie picks Clay and Clay. They all laugh. And Ziara picks Josh and Caleb. Molly asks what Clay has learnt. And he's like, I need to up my social media game. And they're like, goodbye. Then Sean starts whinging about how he didn't get a kiss. And the girls are like, what? So he really puts his foot in it here. Molly sends home Ben. I don't know who that is. Ziara sends home Josh, and clearly we say bye to Clay. So that's the end. Episode 8, more limbo silliness. They're all acting like they're starving to death. And now we get the kinky photo shoot. So Ziara is vibing Corey, and Isaiah not so much. So this is kind of where she's like more leaning towards Corey, and she's like, Isaiah needs to step up.
I mean, Isaiah, like I get Isaiah, but he is boring. But Corey just is so off-putting to me. So, like, personally, I would be leaning towards Isaiah just because she's painted herself in the corner of these not too good options. Like, you look at the cast at the beginning, and sometimes you think, like, how did we get to this point where these are the options? Yeah, so the guys, their sexiness translates to a sexy photo shoot. Some of the guys just look so uncomfortable and out of place. Like, as hot as Nick is, he's not sexy photo shoot hot. He's like a different kind of hot. Yeah.
Agreed. I think Joshy was the hottest in the photo shoot. Like, Sean looked stupid. He was like dressed as a cop and he just looked like a stripper. And then they put like Justin in like a collar. I was like, oh. Benny and Sophie are getting cozy. He says that some people in the house don't have her intentions at heart. And she's like, what do you mean? Who are you talking about? And he's very happy to throw out Justin's name. And then he reveals that Justin said that he's not into any of the girls. And they roll the tapes, and he did say that. Vernon and Molly cuddle. He's being a shit stirrer and he wants Nick to see. And Ziara and Caleb are hanging out. And she's such a sucker for him. Like, she really eats it up. Like, yeah, he's hot, but like, my God, he's horrible. And she's still into it at this point. It's like episode 8.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Sometimes I think is my choice in like taste in men so far removed from straight women. Like, it's really a divide. Like, you'd think we'd be more in line, but some of these guys that they go for, it's like, what the fuck are you thinking? Like, he's clearly awful in every way. But yeah.
Totally. Benny really likes to fight. Like, he was very happy to do some on-screen drama. He goes and grabs Justin and pulls him aside and starts going him in front of everyone. He calls him a bellend. And Corey starts going, Jerry. And once again, Sophie's not impressed. She comes over, and then Molly tells us, yeah, I got some big dick Nick action. So this is where I'm like, did they fuck at this point?
Surely,
right? And this is why I love Molly so much. Like, she got so much action in this house. Like, fucking power to you. And like, and we don't get this normally on these shows. Like, the women are these like precious flowers, and you know, the men are all like drooling over them. But to have these women like completely in control of their sexualities was awesome.
Yeah, and the fact the show doesn't even attempt to slut shame them in any way. It's just kind of like congratulating them.
Not one bit. Yeah. And I think Abby really helped with that too, because of her whole energy is like very, that. We get the elimination. Nick is really schmaltzy. The violin music comes back in for him. Sean is out. 0 surprises there. Sophie's turn next. She takes Justin and Josh to the final. I was shocked by this, but also, yeah, because I thought she was really into the DJ. Were you surprised Benny didn't make it to the end?
Yeah, but, I mean, they did have more of a brother-sister vibe than a romantic vibe in the end. They were just like, there wasn't much sparks. It was just all like them having a laugh more than anything. So I kind of see it. And
then Ziara, no surprises again. She picks Corey and Isaiah to the final. Caleb's trying to get sympathy from the audience. He's like, I went through more than anyone else went through on this island. I'm like, what? Like, what did you go through? All right, episode 9 is not the finale. It's the mansplain. Is this a staple of this format?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay, so this is why everyone doesn't get eliminated. They stick around because we need their very important opinions in educating the women on, the real people that they're deciding to choose. Abby goes, bros, it's time to disclose. Molly's first, and she's nervous to find out what the boys think of each other. Abby says, guys, what does Molly need to know about Vernon? And Benny goes, he's a wanker.
So Australian.
Okay, and then this is Mitch's moment. He finally gets the platform to tell his story once again about how he was chatting to a girl and she said that her boyfriend broke up with her to go on this show. They roll the tapes and yes, there is inconsistencies in his timeline. And Molly's like, what the fuck? Molly's like, what's her name? And we hear Brogan for the first time, which I'm like, always a great name for the other woman to have. And then they're like, what about Nick? What do we need to know about Nick? And the guys literally all just like, we're in love with him. We all want to cuddle him. He's the best. And we get my favorite line. Molly goes, can Nick do any wrong? Everyone loves him. He's hot and he's got a big dick. And I'm screaming at the TV being like, yes, girl, no brainer. So I mean, the writing's on the wall at this point.
Yeah, one of the best moments in reality TV history, but we'll get to that. Yeah,
totally. So Ziara's next. She's confident because she's got two nice guys. Abby asks about Isaiah first, and then Clay clearly just wants screen time. He's like, well, I just want to put it out there that Isaiah said to me that once this is over, we're going to go clubbing and we're going to fuck some chicks together. And Isaiah's like, I did not say that. And they roll the tapes and he did not say that. He literally was just like, yeah, cool, bro. We can go to the casino or whatever.
Yeah.
Clay's like, I love you, man. We're great mates. And everyone's like, no, fuck off, Clay. Stop talking.
Yeah, the mansplain is always the last like grasp at let's, give me some kind of screen time. Yeah. And it's always funny the guys that just come out of the woodwork to try to get that last little grasp.
Yeah. And I love they've all got their beef with each other. Like, so Corey's in the hot seat next, and Caleb, who's been waiting for this moment, he's like, he lied about his age. And no one really seems to care that much, but they're all kind of flogging their like thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sean adds, he said Molly had a dirty vagina and that's why the ex cheated. And it's like, dun, 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 dun. And I'm like, I cannot believe something that was said in episode 1 finally comes up again in episode 9. And the girls go off.
So good. So good. That was amazing television. And the fact that it took so long, like as a viewer, it was like building up. It's like, when is this going to come out? This has to come back.
It was payoff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad it did. Like, as fucked as what he said was, like, I'm glad it came back because he needed to be outed for it. And also, yeah, it was great telly. Cut to Molly, and Molly's so good. Like, she could have been really upset, all this stuff. She literally, her one comment about it in confessional is, if you must know, it's a great vagina. And I'm like, work.
So good.
So Sophie's next. Justin's in the hot seat. No surprises. Benny kicks off. We get some flashbacks about all their drama. Did he or did he not say that none of the girls were his type? And Sophie really just wants to hear Justin admit it because I think it's pretty obvious because all of the guys say that they heard him say that pretty much. Mm-hmm. So Sophie really just wants the truth of him. Do you think that was how he fucked it up?
Yeah, though, I don't know. She says that, but I think if he did admit it, he'd be fucked. Like, I think it's a no-win situation. I think he just should have fucking not said it. He should have not fucking said it.
True. So the final decision is looming. Abby is like kicking with the girls about the final decision. They're all like, I've got such a hard decision to make. And I'm thinking, not really. The only one I was not like 100% sure on was Z's decision because I wasn't sure because both of her guys are kind of shit. So I was a bit like, I don't know what she was going to do. But I think at this point, the writing was on the wall for both Sophie and Molly.
Well, I guess there was the big question up in the air of what would Joshy do? Because in the end of the day, he's an F-boy. Like, and he was a hard one because, like, I think I've watched, a few seasons of this show, and most of the time I'm like, thinking of myself in the position of these girls and be like, why the fuck are you choosing the F-boy? But in Joshy's case, I got it. Like,
but I think on purpose they mislabel some guys. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like Joshy didn't seem like a bad guy. He actually seemed quite lovely. And but every guy has that in them, that ability to fuck around and whatever. Does that make you a bad person? Up for debate. And like, does it mean that he has the ability to fuck someone over in that way of taking away $50,000 or whatever it is from that girl?
Yeah. So they all go on their final dates, and it's like a 24-hour date they get with each of them. I was very happy with the editors that they kept these quite brief because they actually weren't that exciting. But to Corey's credit, he kind of apologizes to Z about not bringing up the Molly situation, as he calls it. But like you said before, I think he's just very good at talking shit. He knows exactly the right things to say. And this is when I was thinking, like, he's going to fucking win. Sophie's on to Justin because she says she's also a performer. So she knows when someone's turning it on. And Molly's got the biggest decision to make out of all of them because, she's got her walls up. She's been cheated on. Vernon's being cute. He's saying all the right things because Vernon really switches now, doesn't he? He all of a sudden gets quite cute and he's really laying it on thick, saying all the right things. But then, and this was the fucking gag, when they cut to him in confessional after all this going, oh no, I'm going to steal the money. Did you see that coming? It was fabulous. It was so evil.
I see it coming though. Like, he is so obviously a fuckboy. Like, he...
Yeah, but like maybe because I haven't seen this show before, in my mind it's like at the end, at the pointy end, they all want to look like a nice guy, so they all want to like stay with her. But the fact that he was so happy to reveal that he was planning on taking the money, I was like a bit shocked in the best way.
Have you listened to the post interview that Abby did with Molly and Brogan on her podcast?
No, I'll have to.
Okay, you have to, because Brogan goes into like how Vernon is as a person,
timeline.
And the timelines, and all, like, she goes through the whole situation. But like, basically, he told Brogan, like, I'm going to go on the show, I'm going to win the money, and then like I'm going to come back and like we'll get married. Like, it was like a whole plan.
So there's better ways to make $1, honey. Anyway, it's episode 10. It's crunch time. It's the finale, and now we get the other of the 24-hour dates. So Sophie with Joshy. This is the life drawing with the bananas. And we get a good glimpse of Joshy's butt, and it's nice. Ziara and Isaiah's date. I just don't buy these two. I don't know. It's been 10 episodes and I still haven't seen any part of their relationship where I'm like, yeah, this seems genuine.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it is he was just seemed very nervous to be on the show. And I don't think we ever got a true sense of who he was. He never felt natural in the whole time.
Molly and Nick next, of course, they've saved the best till last. They do a Titanic reenactment on the boat, which was very cute. But apparently she's still got Vernon on the mind. Then they fuck because she takes him back to the house and they close the door and she goes, so long, Cuddle Bear, and hello, Big Dick Nick. All right, it's the final judgment. Sophie's first. Justin and Joshy do their final pleas. Justin talks a lot of shit here. He's like, you've changed me. And thank fuck she picks Joshy. Were you happy with her decision?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. And what did you think of his gag where he was like, I choose the money, to be split with you.
They do that every fucking season.
Ziara's next. You know, they're both nice guys, so she's got, you know, less up at risk than the others. Corey and Isaiah make their pleas. Corey lays on his usual smooth talk. He's like, I'm a real man and I'm leaving here with you on my arm as my girl. You know, all of that. And then Isaiah says, oh, I love you. And she's like, say it louder. This was very hard to watch. And he's like, oh, I love you. And then she says it back, which I guess we were supposed to take that as she picks him.
Yeah, that whole storyline, it was just like, let's get to the Molly of it all.
Okay, so the moment we've all been waiting for, it's Molly's choice. She's got nice guy Nick and F-boy Vernon. She grills Vernon. She's like, so do you want to be with me? And he goes, 110%. And then she goes, bullshit. And it's like, dun, dun, dun. Then out comes Brogan. Boop, 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 boop. And we get the flashbacks to Molly inviting her over, and she gets shown the text messages, the receipts, and Molly is like, wow, I'm done.
And I was like wondering how manufactured this whole thing was, but listening back to that interview that she did with Abby and Brogan, it actually sounded like it played out exactly how the show presented it. It was Molly's idea to track down Brogan. She was the one that instigated this whole thing.
Because has that happened on another version of this show?
Never.
It's so good. It was really, really well done. Mm-hmm. I loved as well how they tried to like pair Mitch and Brogan as well. That was quite funny. Vernon tries to hug Abby and she's like, nope. Like it's all so well done at the end.
Yeah.
Perfect ending. I don't know how they're going to top this next year or next season. I'm glad it's coming back, but
yeah, I have faith that, I mean, this is an amazing season of television. Like I was gobsmacked by how good it was.
Paul, it's finally time for us to reveal our statuses. Paul, are you a nice guy or are you a fuckboy?
Well, probably the reason I've been single for so long is because I am a nice guy.
Oh, I knew it.
How about you?
I have something to reveal.
Mm-hmm.
So this will come as no surprise to many of you, but I am indeed a fuckboy. I'm so sorry. Paul Mizzi, thank you so much for talking shit with me about FBoy Island Australia Season 1. What a gag. Thank you so much.
It's been great.
Where can our listeners find you and the Swapcast podcast online?
So pretty much anywhere you listen to your podcast. We're on Spotify. We're on all the podcast platforms. We've got a website, the swapcastpodcast.com, or we're on all the socials. Best one to contact us on is Instagram. So just search the Swapcast Podcast. We're there.
I'll put a link in the show notes as well. Thank you so much.
See
you later. So good to talk to Paul Mizzi about FBoy Island Season 1. I'll be back next week to recap another season of an Australian reality show. Until then, bye-bye.